Let Us Be Muslims by Sayyid Abul Mawdudi, edited by the late Brother Khurram Murad. May Allah bless the souls. Chapter 19, Fundamental Importance of Zakah. Brothers in Islam, after the prayer, Zakat or almsgiving is the most important pillar of Islam. The Quran makes the importance of Zakat abundantly clear. Although in popular imagination, the fasting is ranked after the prayer because it is usually so listed. On these two great pillars rests the edifice of Islam. If they are demolished, Islam can hardly survive. Meaning of Zakat. Primarily, the word Zakat means purity and cleanliness. Islam uses this very word for the acts of setting aside a portion of your wealth for the needy and poor. This is very significant, for it means that it is by giving to others that your wealth is purified, and along with it, your own self, naf too. Your own self, which is naf as well. If anyone does not give to the poor and needy that is their due, the wealth remains impure, and that person's inner self too is impure. His heart is too narrow, it is filled with ingratitude, he is too selfish. He almost worships wealth, while God has been kind and generous to give him wealth in excess of his requirement. It pains him to render what is his due. How can we expect such a person ever to do some good with the sole motives of pleasing God, or make any sacrifice for the sake of Islam and his faith? Zakat, a test. By enjoining upon us to pay Zakat, Allah has put every one of us to the test. Only you are willing to take out what you must for the sake of God from that wealth which exceeds your requirement, and help with it the poor and needy, you are worthy in the sight of Allah and deserve to be counted among the faithful. If you do not sacrifice even this little, you are totally unfit to be valued by Allah and accepted as a truly faithful servant. You are then like a rotten limb which is better cut off to stop it decomposing the whole body. After the death of the Prophet, blessing and peace be on him, some tribes refused to give zakat. Abu Bakr declared war on them, as if they had disowned Islam and turned kafir, even though they performed the prayer and professed faith in Allah and the Messenger. For they were like a rotten limb. Islam is an integral whole of which the almsgiving is an essential part. Without the almsgiving, even salah, saum, and iman lose their credibility. Early practice. Study the Quran and you will find that from the earliest times the prayer and the almsgiving were laid down upon the followers of all the prophets. Speaking about the Prophet Ibrahim, his progeny and followers, it is said, "And we made them leaders of men who would guide by our command, and we instructed them to do good deeds and to perform the prayer and to give the alms, and us alone did they serve." Surah Al-Anbiya, ayat 73. About the Prophet Ismail it is said, he used to enjoin upon his people the performing of the prayer and the almsgiving, and he found favor with his Lord. Surah Maryam, ayat 55. The Prophet Musa once prayed thus for his people, "My Lord, bestow upon us good in this world as also in the world to come." Do you know what Allah said in reply? "With my punishment do I smite whom I will, but my mercy embraces everything, and I shall ordain it for those who are God conscious and give the alms and who believe in our message. Surah Al-Araf, ayat 156. Since the Prophet Musa's followers were obsessed with worldly gain then, as so many among us today, even a prophet as distinguished as Musa was plainly told that the mercy he had asked for would be granted to only those who observed the almsgiving. Those who did not would be deprived of it and punished. Similarly, even after the Prophet Musa died, the Israelites were repeatedly admonished about their niggardly and stingy behavior. Time and again, covenants were taken from them to worship none save Allah and to be steadfast in Salah and Zakat. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 85. Till ultimately clear warning was given. And said God, I surely shall be with you. If you perform the prayer, give the alms, and believe in my messenger, and support them, and lend to God a good loan, surely I will efface your bad deeds. Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayat 12. But the Prophet Muhammad, blessing and peace be on him, the last prophet, before Prophet Muhammad, blessing and peace be on him, the last prophet was Isa. He too was ordained by Allah to perform the prayer and give the alms. He has blessed me wherever I may be, and he has enjoined upon me the prayers and the alms so long as I live. Surah Maryam, ayat 31. Thus, from the earliest times, Islam has always been founded on these two acts of worship, the prayer and the almsgiving. People who believe in God were never exempted from them. Categorical imperative. What important position do these two acts of worship occupy in the Sharia of the Prophet Muhammad, blessing and peace be on him? Open the Quran and see what you read in the very beginning. This is the book of God. There is no doubt in it. It is a guide for the God conscious who believe in the unseen and perform the prayer and span of that we have provided them. It is they who follows the guidance from their Lord, and it is they who are successful. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 2 and ayat 3. That is to say, those who have no faith and do not adhere to the prayers and the almsgiving will neither receive guidance nor achieve success in life. A little later, in the same surah, we again read, perform the prayer and give the alms and bow with those who bow. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 43. Look at some of the many more similar ayats which stress performing the prayer and the almsgiving. It is not true piety that you turn your faces to the east and the west, but truly pious is he who believes in God and the last day and the angels and the books and the prophets, and gives his wealth for love of him to kinsmen and to orphans and the needy and the wayfarers and the beggars, and to set human beings free from bondage, and perform the prayer and give the alms. And they who keep their promises whenever they promise and are patient in misfortune and hardship and times of peril, it is they who have proved themselves true, and they are the God conscious. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 177. Further we read, indeed, your true friend is only God and his messenger, and the believers who perform the prayer and give the alms and bow them down. For whoso makes God his friend and his messenger and the believers, it is they, the party of God, who shall triumph. Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayat 55 to ayat 56. Great are the truths expounded here. First, that only those can be taken as true believers who perform their prayers and give the alms. Those who disregard these two fundamental teachings are not true in their profession of faith. Second, that Allah, the Messenger, and the believers form one separate entity. They are like one party, and it is the duty of a true believer to join this party, superseding and severing all other ties of loyalty. If a Muslim is loyal to a person or his ally who is outside this party, whether father, brother, son, neighbor, countryman, or anyone else, and maintain with him a relationship of love and mutual support, he should not expect Allah to love and help him. Finally, that believers can gain ascendancy on earth only when they become one in their love and loyalty, friendship and fidelity with Allah, His messengers, and other believers. Foundations of the Ummah. Let us read the Quran further, where Allah commands Muslims to wage war against those who rebel against God and take gods beside Him. Yet, if they turn to God from disbelief and polytheism and perform the prayer and give the alms, they become your brothers in faith. Surah Al-Tawbah, Ayat 11. What should make Muslims accept those rebels against God as their brothers in faith, as members of the Ummah? Merely turning aside from rebellion and polytheism is not enough. They should also perform the prayer as well as give the alms as a sign of true repentance and conversion. Only then war against them is to be ceased and they become brothers in faith. A little further again we read, and the believers, the men and the women, are friends one of the other. They enjoin the doings of right and forbid the doing of wrong, and they perform the prayer and they give the alms, and they obey God and His Messenger. It is they upon whom our God will have mercy. Surah Al-Tawbah, Ayat 71. Listen carefully. Only those can become Muslim brothers united with one another who declare their faith and then perform the prayer and give the alms. These three elements, Imam, Salah, and Zakat, constitute the basis to bring the community of believers into existence. Only in such a community should loyalty, friendship, and mutual support supersede all other loyalties and ties. Those who refuse to accept or who put aside these three principles, in fact, fall outside this community, though they may be Muslim in name. To give them love and loyalty is to violate the law of Allah and disrupt the party of Allah. How then can those who accept such behavior expect to be in the ascendancy? Conditions for God's help. Still further we read, and God will most certainly help him who helps, and God will certainly help him who helps him. Surely God is all strong, almighty. Those who, if we give them power in the land, perform the prayer and give the alms and enjoin the right and forbid the wrong, unto God belongs the outcome of all affairs. Surah Al-Hajj, Ayat 40 to 41. Here Muslims have been served with the same notice as was served on the Israelites. They were told, I shall be with you as long as you perform the prayer, give the alms, and support my messenger in their mission. The moment you give up this work, I shall withdraw my support from you. Similarly to the Muslim, Allah says, if after gaining power on earth, you perform the prayer, give the alms, make the good to grow, and eliminate the evil, only then I'll be your helper. And who can subdue him whom I support? But if you turn away from the almsgiving, and after acquiring power on earth, promote evil instead of good, curb good instead of evil, make your own world prevail instead of mine, and consider collecting taxes and building palatial houses as the sole purpose of your rule on earth, then listen, my support will not be with you. Satan alone will be your supporter. Warning to Muslims. Shall we not heed this warning? The Israelites took their warning as an empty threat, and they paid the consequence. They are still scattered across the earth, and although their coffers are brimming with wealth, their money is of no use to them. By adopting the evil system of interest instead of zakah, and by turning away from salah, they have invoked Allah's curse. We Muslims have been given the very warning by God as yet given to the Israelites. And what has our conduct been? We too have neglected salah and zakat. We forsook our duty to use our power in spreading good and eliminating evil. And the consequences have been no different. We have been dislodged from power. We have become the victims of tyrants throughout the world. We are weak and live in servitude wherever we are found. Yet, despite such clear warnings and such manifest consequences, some Muslims propose the creation of economies based on interest and other man-made ideologies like capitalism and socialism. If ever they did implement the proposal, the disgrace and ignominy would overtake Muslims, and they would suffer as the Israelis have suffered. Fate of Zakat defaulters. What immense blessing does Zakat have? That, brothers, I shall explain later. But let me emphasize how the very fact of our being Muslims depend on paying Zakat. Many Muslims think, and some of their ulamas too, assures them that they remain true Muslim even though they may not perform the prayer and give the alms. But the Quran clearly rejects such an idea. It states beyond doubt that the affirmation of the Kalimat Tayyibah has no weight unless accompanied by the performance of the prayer and the giving of the alms. Abu Bakr, the first caliph, as I've stated above, had no hesitation in taking out arms against Muslims who believe in God and the Messenger and perform salah, but refused to give zakat. Some of the Prophet's companions initially had some confusion whether war could be waged against them, but not Abu Bakr, who categorically stated, "By God, if these people withhold the alms they used to give during the time of the Prophet, Allah's blessing and peace be on him, even if it be a piece of rope by which a camel is tied, I shall raise my sword against them." Hadith from collection from Abu Dawud. His argument convinced all the companions, and they unitedly accepted that jihad must be waged against those who refuse to give the alms. In the Quran too, it is stated that refusal to give the alms is a mark of idolaters who deny the hereafter. And woe unto the idolaters who give not the alms and who deny the life to come. Surah Fussilat, ayat 6 and ayat 7. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-aliyyil azim, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-aliyyil azim, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-aliyyil azim.